Hi everyone. Do you want to add a wow factor to your cards? Well, in this video, I am going to show you step by step the basket weave technique. It's easy and guaranteed to wow your friends and family. Hi everyone, I'm Terry and I'm nuts about stamping. I love sharing the delights of rubber stamping, scrapbooking, and paper crafting with you each week. So let's get started on this technique. The first step is to choose a stamp set and maybe a corresponding set of dies, although you don't need to do die cutting for this technique. For my basket weave card that I'm going to share with you today, I've chosen the Art Gallery bundle. It's this stamp set, which I love because it has images and phrases, and it's also bundled with the Floral Gallery dies, so that makes image making and phrase making very easy. The next step is to choose the colors for your card. I recommend, if you're trying this technique for the very first time, that you choose two corresponding colors. For me, I've chosen Seaside Spray, which is this blue, and Misty Moonlight. And then the next thing you want to do is choose your card base. And I've decided that my card base is going to be Seaside Spray. The next step in this technique is to create some paper strips using the colors that you've chosen for your card. One set of 4 paper strips is going to be shorter than the other, and you can choose which is going to be the long color and which is going to be the short color. The next step is to cut yourself a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and that's what we're going to adhere the paper strips to and do some weaving with these strips. I encourage you to also consider a grid paper background so that you can adhere your strips and ensure that they lie flat and straight across your card piece, your card layer. So let's start off with the Seaside Spray, and what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of liquid glue on one end. I can't get my glue started. There we go. On one end only. So you do not want to put glue all the way across the strip because you want to be able to lift the strips for this particular technique. So I am using, there we go. I'm using my grid paper underneath to help me lay the strip across the card so that it's going to run straight. Now I'm going to take my second strip and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to adhere all 4 strips of Seaside Spray across the front of my card, and I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch in between each strip. I have my 4 strips adhered just on the left-hand side to my Whisper White layer. Now I'm going to bring in my contrasting color, and this is where the magic happens, and I'm going to weave. Now I am going to give you a quick tip here. I would leave this layer with the initial color of strips on it to dry for quite a while. I'm not going to do that because I want to show you the weaving part of this card. So my colors may lift a little bit. If you leave yours to dry for a while, this technique will be much easier for you. So you're going to take your very first colored strip of, this is the Misty Moonlight, and you're going to add some glue again, only to the top part for now. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to lift and slide this over as far as I can. And then I am going to hold that in place, and I'm going to, it's going to be an over, under, over, under. There we go. So I've got the, in this case, I'm going under, over, like so. And then what I can do is I can adhere down at the bottom so that it will lie flat and begin to dry. My glue is not helping today. There we go. like so. You don't necessarily have to run glue across the whole thing. You want to just have it at the top and at the bottom. And again, I would use your grid paper underneath to help you ensure that your strip is going to lie flat. Generally, if you run your hand down, that'll help ensure that it does lie flat. Again, I would leave it to dry for a little bit, but I'm going to show you the next strip as well, and then I will continue with the technique. So for this one, I want to start the opposite. So this time I'm going to start and do on top, and then the next strip will be underneath, and then the next strip will be over top, and then the final strip I will slide it underneath. Okay, so you can see that the weaving is starting to happen, and then I will add a little bit of glue at the bottom to hold that in place. Now I'll go ahead and I will finish by adding the last two strips, and then I'll show you how to add a beautiful element to finish off the card. I have all 4 strips woven onto the front of the card, and then what I want to do finally now is and I'm going to turn this over, I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back of the strips. I got a little bit too much glue on my card, but that's okay. That will dry clear and that'll look great. And that will hold everything down in place so that it will be a beautiful layer for the front of my card. Again, I'm just going to press forward to finish off my card. I would recommend that you leave this to dry for a while. Well, what I want to do is I want to take my basket weave layer and I want to attach it to a layer of Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to add some glue to the back of this and then adhere it down. And then I'm going to attach it to my card base, which is the Seaside Spray. So again, I'll turn this over, add some glue to the back, and lay it down and then set it aside to dry for a few minutes. And then I will be ready to start. I'll be ready to add the final touch to my card, which is a beautiful element that I have created using my art gallery bundle. Back in a moment. There is the final layers all put together. And then when the video was off, what I did was I used my art gallery bundle and I created an element for the front of my card. I did the 2-step stamping technique where I first stamped with the Seaside Spray this entire flower image, and then I took a second stamp and the Misty Moonlight and added sort of the contrasting element to that. And what I want to do is use my mini Stampin' Dimensionals and pop up this layer on the front of my card by using a few Stampin' Dimensionals. I'll just peel off the backings of them. And then, whoops, my fingers are a bit sticky from the glue. Okay, I think I'm just going to have it stand straight up like that. I could angle it, but I think because my card is so vertical, you know, with its grid work with the basket weave, I think I will leave my flower standing straight up. And then I also used the I'm Thinking of You phrase from the Art Gallery stamp set, and then I die cut it using one of the dies in the bundle. And what I'm going to do for this one is I am going to just add 2 Stampin' Dimensionals, one on either side of this layer, peel off the backing, and then I'm going to add it. I think I'll add it right like so. And There we go. My basic basket weave card is done and ready to send to somebody special. Now, there are other additional pieces that you can add to this card. If you have some embellishments or some ribbon, I think embellishments would be pretty, just to add a touch of bling. And I might do that after the card is over. At this point in time, I'm not quite sure. But hopefully this video helped you learn how to do the basket weave technique to add a really wow factor to your cards in future. If you would like a complete listing of everything I use to make this card, head on over to my blog, www.nutsaboutstamping.com. While you're on my blog, consider subscribing to my free newsletters. I send 2 newsletters a week, and I introduce a project idea that you won't see anywhere else. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. I hope you'll try the basket weave technique today too. Bye for now.